G'day, welcome to This Week in Downhill. This is a weekly series of videos kind of covering things that have happened in the downhill skateboarding community, I guess all over the world. Yeah, everything I talk about I'll have links to in the description below, so if you want to know more about anything you can go down there and check it out. And yeah, if there's anything that I missed this week, definitely check in the comments and other people can see it that way. And as always, if there's something you see during the week or something you're hosting an event or whatever, feel free to send it to me and I can share it in next week's video. But yeah, let's get started. Alright, starting with skate videos, the first one I wanted to mention was a video from Slide Perfect. It's called We Skated a Volcano, and I think in the description it basically just says like, we didn't film an actual edit for our trip, but here's all the phone clips kind of stacked together. But the edit is like really good. They're skating in Tenerife, which is one of the best places to skate I think there is. It seems to be like everyone in Europe goes there in the winter time, which is pretty cool if you live in Europe, I guess. And yeah, the edit just, it goes so hard. Like there's some just insane clips of Bumpy doing the most wild stuff, like, you know, crazy stand-up toe pendies through like narrow roads and stuff. And it just, I really enjoyed it. It's a short little quick edit, but it's just, the quality of skating in it is phenomenal, and it just has that real like skate trip kind of vibe to it. So yeah, go check that video out. It was really enjoyable. The next video I wanted to mention was S1 Helmets posted a raw run of David Boia skating in Puerto Rico. Yeah, this raw run went pretty hard. Puerto Rico is a pretty wild place to skate. There's a lot of narrow roads with busy traffic, and this road was no exception. He did have some spotters, but it's still pretty crazy, you know, like a very narrow road, cars coming up, quite a few cars in this run, and he just shreds the road. It's really enjoyable raw run, really showcases just his skill level and like confidence in his ability to be skating such a sketchy road and having so many cars around and just skating it no problem. So yeah, that was a really intense raw run and just enjoyable as well. David has really cool style. And the last video I wanted to mention this week was from Diego Poncelet. It's called Melt My Mind. It's a raw run. And yeah, I guess he skated this road a year ago and fell off on one of the corners, and so it was sort of like he wanted to skate it better. But the raw run is just insane. The road, again, like the last one, this one's even narrower. It looks way faster. It's got, you know, uphill kind of looking corners and stuff. It looks like a roller coaster. Crazy, crazy road. He absolutely kills it. I was watching this video and it was like the first time in a while that I've been like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You know, it's pretty crazy. Diego's one of the best at skating fast like what he does. So yeah, go check that one out. If you've seen anything from Diego, you know it's going to be good. Alright, moving over into events now. The first thing I wanted to talk about was the WDSC has announced 2 events for this year. The first one's actually jumping off what we talked about last week, which was that Khalil posted on his story a little while ago saying he had just confirmed an event in Tennessee. So it turns out that's actually going to be a WDSC race, and that's going to be their first one in the States, which is pretty exciting. This is their 3rd year of doing the whole WDSC thing, and this is the first time they have managed to get a race in America. So yeah, it's going to be in Roan Mountain, Tennessee, which is really cool. Apparently the road is supposed to be pretty cool, pretty fast, pretty intense, so kind of sounds like what the WDSC tends to pick for their roads. They all seem pretty kind of fast. It's scary. But yeah, it looks like they're also going to be running it as like an they've got their WDSC kind of race, and then they'll also just have like a race that anyone can enter, I think, and a free ride as well. So it's like a full-on event. It's going to be in October, like we mentioned the dates. The other one they announced just a couple of days after was they're actually having a race in Wales. This is really cool. I don't really recall any big races happening in the UK at all. I'm sure that they have races, Outlaws. That's not what I'm trying to say. I just mean, like, you know, when you think of the big downhill races, you think of like South America, the Philippines, Southeast Asia, obviously across a lot of Europe, but not really the UK. So that's kind of cool. I know, like, if for the UK skating, like Wales is the main place, being the mountains and stuff. So it's cool to see that it's just like a different location. But yeah, this one's going to be on July 25th to 28th. And similar deal to the one we were just talking about. I think they're having the WDSC race, and you can also have like a just separate racing category for regular folk and a free ride as well by the looks of it. So yeah, really cool to see. They've got 2 new events and 2 new locations. So just, yeah, really cool stuff coming from the WDSC this week. PalPerAla posted that at Tepe and Tacos, they're going to have a stock class race. $20 entry fee, which includes a set of the orange pastes, And the stock class racing, if you haven't heard of, is basically just like you get given one set of wheels, everyone gets the same set of wheels, and that's your wheels for the whole race. So, you know, from heats through all the way up to finals, one set of wheels. So it says you can rotate, but the whole point is like you just get given that set and you race on them, and that's it. So it's cool to see because not only are they like only get one set of wheels, they're also free ride wheels, which changes things up a little bit. So yeah, if you're going to Tepe and Tacos, one of the days there'll be a stock class race on the Primos, and obviously after the event you get to keep the wheels. So it's a $20 entry fee, which includes the set of wheels, so that's already cheaper than the wheels are for sale, and you get to enter this fun race. So yeah, it will be cool to see how that goes. Attack of Danger Bay is happening again this year. It actually looks like he's saying it's the first of the last 3, which sounds kind of ominous, like he's only going to do it for 3 more years. But anyway, registration is going to open on April 1st, and the event is going to be May 16th to 22nd. I've heard a lot of great things about Danger Bay. It's not just the one race, they do 2 races and a couple of free rides and a slide jam. It's just like a whole big weekend of downhill skating, and that's over in Vancouver in Canada. So, well, I guess British Columbia, not necessarily Vancouver. But yeah, so Attack of Danger Bay, May 16th to 22nd. Very cool. Alright, and the last event I wanted to mention is the Broad Street Bomb is happening on May 18th. That's in Philadelphia. Yeah, that's kind of like the Broadway Bomb, I guess. The same idea, a bunch of people meet up to skate and they just skate down through the city, down the main street. And it is technically a race, I guess, and I know the guys that run it, they always have a bunch of different prizes and stuff, so just a cool thing to get out and do a push race. Yeah, so I think they said they'll have more details coming as far as times and sponsors and just the way it's going to run. But yeah, pencil it in for May 18th in Philadelphia if you want to go to that push race. This week I just had one thing in community-related news. Dexter Manning made a post all about rain wheels and rain skating and kind of like a bit of his sort of advice and experience for how he tackles that. This was coming off the World Skate Games in Philippines, where obviously some of that racing they had there was in the wet. And yeah, I just thought it was a really insightful post and really interesting, and if it's something you're not sure about, you haven't done much of, like myself, I don't really rain skate much and haven't really thought too much about it in detail. He just has like a really cool in-depth discussion just on his Instagram about rain skating, which yeah, I just thought that was really cool and I figured I'd include that. Okay, moving over into gear-related news. The first one I was going to talk about was Scythe Gear. Has 2 new products. The first one they announced was the Crusader truck. This is a bracket-mounted LDP truck, so I mean, it's not really downhill, I guess, but I mean, Scythe is predominantly a downhill gear company. So yeah, I figured I'd include it. It's kind of cool to see. It's really interesting because I remember when the Valkyrie single bushing trucks released, a whole bunch of LDP skaters were buying them and using them and really liked them. So it's interesting, we're starting to see crossovers between downhill gear being made and like other disciplines enjoying it. Another example was the Rogue ZM1s. When they released those, a bunch of slalom skaters were buying them up and using them. So just, yeah, really interesting to see some sort of, you know, across genres of skating gear. But yeah, so the Crusaders, not really for downhill. The idea for them is for LDP, super responsive, I guess, and like really low, so the ride height gets low for pushing. But kind of just cool to see new stuff. Based off the Reaper design, which is their downhill truck design, which is a really weird design where it's got 2 bushings, but they're both roadside of the hangar. I'll have the photo up, you can see it for yourself. But yeah, interesting stuff from Scythe. And the other thing that Scythe announced this week is that they have updated their footstop design, so they're now on the V2. So the V2 footstop and the T-Rex V2, which is really cool. I guess one of the biggest complaints about Scythe footstops, which was actually my only real complaint about them as well, was that they kind of hurt your feet because it's just a chunk of metal. And they, if you don't know the Scythe footstops, I have the photo of one here, but they have the grooves in them so that your foot goes up against it and it has more grip, which is really effective. It's also really effective at just destroying your pinky toe. So what they've done is actually added in like urethane around the outside of the footstop where it touches your foot. So now, I guess the footstop is still metal to have that weight factor, which some people will enjoy, but where you push your foot up against is actually soft urethane. So it's kind of countering that main complaint that people have had for their footstops. And they've included this for their original design as well as the T-Rex design. So yeah, kind of huge. I mean, that was really the only thing I didn't like about the Scythe footstops. I have both the V1 and I have a T-Rex. I do enjoy both of them, but I found, like, especially on long days, if you're just skating a whole lot, it really can start to hurt, especially the pinky toe. So yeah, cool to see like companies listening to feedback from the people and then releasing a product that's improving on that. So yeah, just cool to see from Scythe all that new gear all in 1 week. Alright, Lanyons posted, like, spring is here, all our new boards are out. Lanyons does this every year. They always have like an updated version for all their boards. Sometimes it's just a graphic, sometimes it's a big change, sometimes they have brand new boards. So yeah, if you want to go and just see all the new stuff from Lanyons, they may end up doing a video. A few different times they've done like a live stream where some of the team riders hang out and they just show off every new board for that year and the graphics and, you know, the changes that there were or weren't and things like that. So look out for that, I guess, from Lanyons. The two highlights for especially downhill skaters were Clark Patrick now has a pro model, which is called the Crane, which looks pretty cool. It's a big double kick. I feel like I haven't really seen a big double kick from a big brand in a while. Kind of reminds me of the old Bustin' Neoface. So that's really cool to see. And then also the Wolf Shark has made a return. The Wolf Shark is sort of one of the OG famous boards from Lanyons. So yeah, this is now the updated version. I don't even know when the last year that they made a Wolf Shark. It might have been like 2015, maybe 2014. So yeah, now there's a 2024 Wolf Shark, which I'm sure a lot of people will be excited about. And the last thing I thought I would throw in at the end is Chase Hiller posted that he hung out with Jared from Rojas Trucks and that he was testing out the new gear that Rojas had. And he posted a photo of the fixed base plates. This is different if you don't know. The 2020 Rojas had, I don't know how many different things they could adjust, but everything was adjustable. You know, the angle, the rake, the width, it was all kind of confusing and very fancy. So I guess they have fixed base plate options now, and it looks like they're compatible with the 2020 hangers. And he actually blurred out the new trucks in the photos. They had like a group photo or whatever, and he blurred out the trucks. So they're obviously new and different and exciting, and they're keeping them under wraps for now. But yeah, I just figured I'd throw that in there, that Chase is getting to try out the new Rojas trucks. So they actually have new things coming pretty soon, which is exciting. Yeah. But yeah, that was This Week in Downhill. Like I said at the beginning, if there was anything I missed that you thought should have been included, definitely chuck it in the comments and other people can see it that way. And yeah, in the next week or so, if there's something you see, feel free to reach out and send it to me. If you're hosting an event or, you know, you're a company and you want to share something or whatever, feel free to send me a message and I'll share it in next week's episode. But yeah, thanks for watching.